Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radhe Shyam.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Vandamaye Savadhana Mate Bando Mohi Savadhana Mate Bando Mohi सावधान माते बांधो मोहि सावधान याहर प्रसादे बाय ये भाव तोरिया प्रसादे बाय ये भाव तोरिया कृष्ण प्राप्ति हो Padma Vakya Chitete Goriya Kya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Goriya Kya Arana Koriho साधे पूरे सर्वाशा ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्वाशा ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्वाशा ये प्रसाद चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो ये जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो ये जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित ज्ञान हृदय प्रचितो प्रेम भक्ति जहा होते अविज विनाशय के प्रेम भक्ति होते अविज विनाशय के प्रेम भक्ति जहा होते अविज विनाशय के प्रेम भक्ति होते अविज विनाशय के वेदे ज्ञायाहार चरितो वेद गायाहार चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनार बंधु गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनार बंधु लोके नाथ लोके रजीवाना लोके नाथ लोके रजीवाना हो हा प्रभु करो दया दे हमरे पाद छाया प्रभु कोरा दया Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol.
Prabhu, here's one more. Okay.
Okay, Jai. You can sit down. Yeah, sure. So thank you so much for coming. Welcome. Lovely to see children coming. They're our future. And our culture is so special. And without children being trained in it, it'll just dissolve, disappear. So it's nice. And I did ask this young pretty girl, and I said, what's the Mahamantra? And she told the Mahamantra. And then those two boys as well followed. They said Mahamantra. Give these children a big round of applause. Yeah. You know, this Mahamantra, it includes the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam, the whole lot. Because it has the ability to clean your heart. Yeah. Whereas Vedas, if you read, it's for the knowledge and everything. It might not clean your heart. Rikshamaya. So Mahamantra is so important, and anybody can chant. Whether you're 90-year-old, whether you're 9 months old. Or if you can speak, that is. And it makes effect straight away. So if you want your children's sanskar good, you know, every day they should just sit even for 5 minutes, and like we do, we don't need mardanga and everything, just by clapping. Tell them to chant Mahamantra at least in the evening, Sandhya time. In Bharat, you know, Sandhya time is very important. Our family in Kenya, we came from East Africa, all the way to Bharatiya, and we used to do Aarti every evening. And so just get them to do Mahamantra. And if they can write a little jyot, you know, it's very nice. And then they can offer fruit. So learn to feed Krishna, yes? And he'll become your best friend. Jai Ho, long time. I thought you lost the way to the temple. It's been a long time. Welcome, yeah. So what happens is, the children will start purifying their heart from young age. And by the time they are like 16, 17 and all that, nobody is going to shake them in their dharma. And what is dharma? Dharma means, you know, that you know the truth. See, there's loads of people that claim they know the truth, but we are from a land which actually writes down systematically, and those books have been written down at different ages, and they're all saying the same thing. In Ramayana, he'll talk about Atma and Paramatma, yes? And he talks about, you know, Vaikuntha Lok, Haribol, welcome, welcome, aye. So what happens is, the truth, even when it's repeated, it stays the same. So in our dharma, you can pick up any book like that. It'll talk about Atma, Paramatma, and it will talk about different lokas, Patal Lok, Vagara, Swarg Lok, Brahm Lok. All the information is the same. So then the children will be ready. Otherwise, what will happen is they have a PhD, but they will not be. Can the men be on this side? Yeah. And they'll have PhD and things like that. Yeah, you can come here on this side. Yeah, thank you. It's pretty safe here. Otherwise, the women go wild. You won't be, when they're dancing, of course. That time, yeah. Otherwise, they're very gentle. Yes. So, so what happens is it's important that the children connect earlier on. Otherwise, they'll have a PhD. They'll never believe that Lord Ram came and Lord Krishna came. True? Oh, it's like that. If you don't know your basis, then later on it's very hard to learn at that time. Yeah, because then they become proud. They have PhD. They go good job. They go car. You think the aim of life is to have money? That's what we all think. Have a good job, education, everything. That's the goal of life. And that's why we come to the temple saying, can you help me get that money and get that job and get that wife, get the children? That's what we do. And Krishna goes, okay, you want Maya? I'll give you Maya. Yeah, take Maya. But Maya is zero. But when you connect with Krishna, Krishna is one. So that zero has a value. You put one in front, it becomes 10. And if you have many, many desires, there's many, many zeros. So Krishna comes in the front, the value increases of your Maya. It becomes transcendental. There's nothing wrong in getting married or getting a job. You must stand on your own feet. But you must connect with the ultimate truth. And ultimate truth is, we're going to disappear, the body is. But one day, there'll be another person taking your place. He'll be believing the same as you. But that is not the truth, because the body is temporary. But you are not temporary. You as Atma are eternal. Krishna is also eternal. So what you're doing is, while you've got temporary body, you're learning how to remain eternal. So when you will leave your body, then you'll connect with the eternal. And Sanatana Dharma, Sanatana means eternal, Dharma connects you like that. So thank you for coming, and it's so nice. And please, there's a wonderful display of the Bhagavad Gita's there. If you don't have a copy of Bhagavad Gita, let us know. We'll give you a copy. Have a copy of Bhagavad Gita in your house. And Prabhupada has done very nicely, written the Sanskrit, and he has translated every word of the Sanskrit. Then he's done the translation. Then he's given the explanation how to understand that verse. On your own, you might not be able to do it, but Prabhupada knows how deep this is. So Prabhupada is guiding us like that. Prabhupada sits there nicely. He did so much hard work all around the world. Bhagavad Gita is being read like never before. So big round of applause for Srila Prabhupada. So this is what the program is now. We'll do a few kirtans, and then around, what time, about 5:45. Yeah, 5:45 will be a class from Gita, and also the saints of Vrindavan. So Guru Sevak Prabhu will sit in here. He'll be giving a class on that. And then there'll be Aarti after that. And then there'll be the most important part of the program, and that is Prasadam. Yes. Because by that time you get hungry, and you're thinking, okay, let me enjoy more. So you enjoy yourself, you enjoy it, and then you enjoy more. And then you can talk, ask questions, and everything like that. We've been doing this for so long, you know, and it's amazing. It's our second nature. To us, we don't look for options now. This is it, and we're enjoying it so much. Okay, so Ishani Devi, you're going to sing. See if you come near here. I think the radio mic. Or do you want to play on the harmonium? Okay.
Krishna
Jai Jai Sri Radhe Shyam. ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ Jai Radhe ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, she just waits us to say Jai Radhe and she comes in there. Her name is Jai Radhe. So whenever we say Jai Jai Sri Radhe, that's when she comes in. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Jai Ho. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Bolo, bolo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Oh Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Oh Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev.
Nita Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gora, Hari Bol.
Oh Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Oh Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Back to the class. That microphone is just terrible. That is just terrible when you sing it. You just all I can hear is reverb. You can't actually hear your voice.
Yeah,
at all.
I thought somebody else
You
was
just
singing.
can't hear it.
Haribo. Okay, taking the reverb off, yeah? Okay,
Raise your hands below. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Hare. Jai Ho. Let me put the lights on. Oh, you're going to use iPad for the lights? Okay. Thanks. Now, it's very important that we understand our philosophy, and because we live a particular style of life. Prabhupada went to the West, and he went to a country where there are beef eaters, you know, and they were mixing freely, boyfriend, girlfriend, drugs, everything. Hippies were there. And Srila Prabhupada went, what did he do? He didn't say that's okay. He says you shouldn't be eating meat at all, or fish or eggs. And they gave it up. Why did they listen to Prabhupada? Because he himself didn't eat. You know, it's no good you're smoking and you tell your children you shouldn't smoke. And when you're smoking yourself, it's not going to be. You've got to give an example. So Srila Prabhupada said, no boyfriend, no girlfriend. So if you have a girlfriend, get married. So you can see Prabhupada was giving a culture. And we are born in that culture, so we don't really appreciate what we are doing. Actually, it's protecting us from Maya, right? And no drugs, alcohol and things like that, no illicit sex, and no gambling. I mean, these days, they advertise so much gambling, casino, this, that, and the other. It's wrong. Because those things are the pillar of sin. It keeps you in Maya. So then Prabhupada didn't just say, don't do that. On top of that, he gave them Bhagavatam, he gave them Bhagavad Gita, and he opened temples, installed deities, introduced Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda for the first time to the West. Even we didn't know who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda was till we get to read Prabhupada. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda came 500 years ago. To do what? Is Krishna himself come in the mood of Radharani to give us this special love of Radha Krishna, which you can't just have it. You can't go to supermarket and have Radha Krishna love. I'll have two of those, please. You know, it doesn't work like that. Because it comes Golokera Premadan, Harinam Sankirtan. It comes from Golok, that love of Radha Krishna, because they're eternally there. We don't realize what we are taking on board when we say, Bolo Gaur Nitai, Gaur Nitai. You're calling them to say, please, can you give me Radha Krishna's love like that? Now what happens is many people, they focus on the Supreme Lord, which is Radha Krishna, because they're giving you Radha Krishna's love. I don't think they're giving themselves. They're the agents. They made it easy for us. So we get to know the agent. You get the tickets to Bharat. You know, you tell him, yeah, discount bhi de dena thoda sa. So he does. If you don't know the agent, then you got to pay the full price. So they are making it easy for us. But actually realize who they are. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the right is Krishna himself in Radharani's mood. And then Nityanand is actually Balaram. Balaram, you even need strength to enjoy. Balaram gives you that strength to enjoy Krishna consciousness. So please realize what's happening here. One thing is, many people become devoted to the Lord, but they do not appreciate other devotees. They become kattar. You know, it's me and my Lord, and everybody else doesn't matter. That is wrong. You got to appreciate, as one Maharaj put it, moving temple of the Lord. Because within us is Paramatma. So there's this temple, and then you have this temple walking around. Every one of you have got Paramatma. So we are walking temples. We should appreciate each other like that. Because if you don't do that, you only got half a bargain. So today, Guru Sevak Prabhu is going to talk about the devotees of the Lord. Because when you hear their Leela, you appreciate that there are people who made it. They became Siddh Purusha. And it's very, very important. Then you got a role model saying, look, they were like us. Then they started to do this process, chanted the Mahamantra, no meat eating, no fish, no eggs, no alcohol, no gambling, no illicit sex. Then they're doing their bhajan, reading Bhagavatam and everything. And guess what? They were able to have an exchange with Krishna and Radharani in Vrindavan. I mean, it's a reality. It's not imagined. Don't think people say who has seen God. There's many who have. Especially in Vrindavan. Once a Brajbasi went to Rome, and in Rome the Pope had a red phone. He goes, what's that red phone? It's a connection to God. He said, can I speak? He said, be quick because it's quite expensive. So he was only 2 minutes. Hello God, how are you? All right, all that. And he had to pay $200 or $400. So he told Pope, when you in Vrindavan, if you come to India, visit me. And then we'll meet each other. So when Pope went to Vrindavan, he's noted, he met his friend. He said, what's the red phone? It's a connection to God. He said, take your time. Oh, chale yaar, chak, baat karo. So he talked. So he spoke for half an hour. He said, what's the bill? He goes, 20 rupees. He said, only 20 rupees. I charge you $200. He said, this is a local call. See? Meaning, Krishna is in Vrindavan, so it's a local call. So please realize, there are people who talk to the Supreme Lord in Jagannath Puri, in Mayapur. They are called Siddh Purush. You also have voices speaking to you. When you were young, you used to listen to your voice saying, don't do this, beta. And you did it, and you got into trouble. And that was a Paramatma speaking to you. So please realize that there is communication happening through the scriptures, through your spiritual master, through other devotees, and within yourself, because there is Lord in your heart as well. So today I'll open the floor to you. So take it over, please. Thank you. Give him a big round of applause.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande paramananda madhava Shri Guru Dinatarinam. So very well everyone, welcome to Sunday program. So the verse that I was going to pick was actually from Srimad Bhagavatam, because there needs to be a bit of a lead in to talking about the devotees of the Lord and why this is so important. So I was going to go for Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the first shloka actually of Srimad Bhagavatam. So if, oh, thank you. So if you can load that shloka up. So everyone knows this. It's Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'll read through the rest of it. Janmadi yasya yato anvayad itaratas charateshva bhigyasvarat tene brahma hridaya adi kavaye muyanti yat surya tejo vari mridam yata vinimayo yatta atrotri sargo amrisha damna svene sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. So the translation to this is, O my Lord Shri Krishna, O son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representation of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. So it's a very wonderful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Can you put the sound up a little bit? It's a little bit low on here. So it's important to note there's many important things in this verse, but the one I want to pick on is when the Lord said, when it said in here, it is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji. So those of you who may or may not know that when the universe was first created, Lord Brahmaji was actually born from a lotus flower emanating from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And you can imagine there's nothing in the universe at that point at all. Like nothing. No stars, no sun, no moon, nothing. It's just Brahmaji sitting on this lotus flower. So there's no one around. So you think, okay, where did Brahmaji get the Vedic knowledge from? What did he do? If you put us out on a lotus flower in the middle of space, what would we do? You'd just be like, oh, what's going on? What should I do? How do I figure out what to do? And it said that Lord Brahma just heard the word tapa, 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 tapa. Now this was actually Lord Krishna speaking those words. Did Lord Brahma see Lord Krishna? Is that what happened? Did Krishna suddenly appear to him and say, tapa, tapa, tapa? No. He simply heard the sound representation. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that the Lord doesn't have to personally be present to speak the words. Lord Brahma just heard the words without the Lord being there. And he followed that instruction and did tapasya. Srila Prabhupada said the sound representation of the Lord loses none of its potency if the Lord is not present. None. That means, Srila Prabhupada said, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, these are spoken by the Lord. You might say, well, Lord Krishna is not on the battlefield here in front of me. He's not with me. So does this mean this is meaningless? Srila Prabhupada said, no. This is the sound representation of the Lord. Just because the Lord's not present, it doesn't mean it doesn't have the full potency. So Brahmadev heard that tap and started doing tapasya for 1,000 celestial years. 1,000 celestial years are incredibly long. Like millions and millions of years here. We try and do tapasya for 5 minutes. If I tell you just to sit for 5 minutes, cross-legged like this, one Arya walking by, everyone will be like, oh, what's this? We can't maintain that level of concentration. Imagine doing it for 1,000 celestial years. And he said, Lord Brahma is the most pure soul in the entire universe, Srila Prabhupada said. In the whole universe, Lord Brahma is the most pure soul. Srila Prabhupada said the position of Brahma is not easily achieved. We hear Brahma Vimohan Leela and say, Lord Brahma got confused about Lord Krishna. If Lord Krishna came in front of us now, I guarantee you, even though we're all devotees of the Lord, all of the men would be jealous of the Lord because he's so beautiful, and all the women would probably pass out because the Lord is so beautiful. So even if Krishna walked in here, you wouldn't be like, it's the Lord, Ishvara, Parama, Krishna. Your nature will come out. So envy, jealousy, all this stuff towards the Lord will be there. Let's not just assume that, Lord Brahma, see, look, he got confused because of the Lord. He is the most pure soul in the entire universe. After doing 1,000 celestial years of meditation, the Lord appeared to him after that and actually showed him all of Vaikuntha. He showed him, you're in the material universe, and he manifested and showed, here is the spiritual universe. So Lord Brahmadev could see it. And Srila Prabhupada said, it's not so easy to go back to Godhead. If Lord Brahma had to do 1,000 celestial years of meditation, why are we taking it so cheaply? Okay, Prabhu, I do my rounds while I'm watching TV. I get up late. I don't read Srila Prabhupada's books. But you know what? I'm going to go back to Godhead at the end. No, you are going to be reborn again. And it's good. You'll be reborn in ISKCON because we're still in Kali Yuga and ISKCON has just started. And there are devotees that are being reincarnated in ISKCON. They do past life regression and they find out they were devotees in, the 70s with Srila Prabhupada. Now it's great. You're being reborn again. You didn't go back to Godhead. Let's not kid ourselves. You have to become perfected. You have to become Siddha Purush. That's what the class is going to be on today, the saints of Vraja. These are Siddha Purushas. If anyone thinks by doing below the standard you'll achieve the supreme, you're completely wrong. If you read Srila Prabhupada's books, he says there are a few criteria in order to get into the spiritual world. 1, all sinful actions have to have stopped. All the sinful reactions have to be destroyed. You have to have no material desires. You have to at least be at that level. Then you have to be a pure devotee. And then you have a chance at getting back to Godhead. A chance. So ask yourself, where on that scale do you come? Srila Prabhupada also said, you have to be free of the influence of past, present, and future. You have to be free of the influence of time. Meaning you're not dwelling in the past. You're not worrying, in the future I'll have a palace. Ooh, I'll have 5 Teslas. I'll have the most beautiful wife, 10 children. Though 1 child now is too much for most. We're not dreaming about the future. And in the present, we're not destroying our present by doing sinful activities and wasting time not doing Krishna consciousness. Srila said you have to be free of the influence of time. You have to be engaged in devotional service all the time. So you can see the criteria for achieving the Lord is more and more difficult. The more cheaper you make it doesn't mean you can afford it. If you go to a shop where they sell diamonds and you see the diamonds in the window and it says, looks very small diamond, £700. You're like, what? And you go in there and say, hey, I've seen some glass. It looks a little bit similar to this. £20. Reprice the diamond for me, give me for £20. What will they say? Get out, get out. Straight away, get out. We're not interested. No, I've seen it. You can show them on Amazon. Look, cubic zirconia, £20. Are they going to give it to you? No. They'll say, excuse me, go away. We don't want your business here. Guru Maharaj used to say, Koi asani nahi hai Brahma ka pana. It's not so easy to get back to Godhead. We're assuming, this is so straightforward. I'll just do some rounds. I'll have association of devotees. I could just take it easy, not push myself. I'll do, just enough. Probably not just enough, a little bit less than enough. But Krishna understands. Yeah? He's Dayalu. He is Patidapavan. So he said, yes, you'll be born again as a human being. Anybody want that? Anybody want that? Kali Yuga is getting worse and worse. Who wants to stay around for it? I personally don't. So I started to look into, there must be some leelas of some devotees that A, have made it back to Godhead, and B, Srila Prabhupada said, if you're fully Krishna conscious, you will meet Krishna in this birth, face to face. So there must be devotees that have done that. Now thankfully, they are. And all of you may have heard of something called Bhaktamal. Bhaktamal is a famous book written just only a couple of 100 years ago. And these are about devotees in Vrindavan. Now, these amazing devotees are along the time of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So not so long ago, maybe 100, 150, 200 years ago. So I'm going to tell you kathas of 3 different Babajis who are in Vrindavan. And the only reason I'm going to stick to 3 is that we want to do it piecemeal. So throughout the year, we'll keep telling you different ones just to encourage you. And I started off the class with a little awakening to tell people, hey, don't take it so cheaply. And this is something to show you that it is possible. Okay, because just like telling someone, like you tell a child, if you want to achieve A grade, it's very difficult, but it is possible. Because such and such son did it, such and such daughter did it here, of relatives we know. And then think, okay, they did it, I can do it. Okay? So, this, sorry, Tamal Prabhu, do you mind just, Sachin Prabhu, you can take the harmonium away from there, because the little child will destroy it, and next week we won't have a harmonium to play. Yeah, thank you. So, there's a wonderful Babaji called Sri Nanda Kishore Das Goswami Pad. Now, he actually belonged to the 7th generation coming from Lord Nityanand Prabhu. Now, this is amazing. And Nityanand Prabhu had descendants. So the 7th generation, there was someone called Sri Nanda Kishore Das. Now, if you imagine, if someone walked in here and said, I am a direct descendant of Lord Nityanand Prabhu, I would like to take initiation. Even if you went to many of our Maharajas in ISKCON, they'd be like, no, thank you. We're not qualified to give you initiation. This is exactly what happened to this Nanda Kishore Das Goswami Pad. He kept asking different people for initiation. They wouldn't give it to him. Because he goes, you're descended from Nityanand Prabhu. How can we give you initiation? And he was like, what do I do? And his family had decided, because his family, Nityanand Prabhu's lineage, they actually become gurus themselves. So they take disciples and initiate. And he said, look, I only want to take disciples when I feel like I've achieved Krishna. So he said, until I can do that, I don't want to start taking disciples. Because obviously they're Brahman kul, so they would be natural gurus. So his parents had decided, oh, we're going to arrange a marriage for you. Because he got to that age of being married. He thought, what should I do? Should I go along with this marriage? Or should I go and sneak off to Vrindavan and become a Siddh Baba and go there and meditate? So the night before, he decided, I'm going to go to Vrindavan. So he immediately left for Vrindavan that night and went there and started staying with Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Now, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is one of our main acharyas in our line. So when he was staying with him, he actually started to serve Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur by telling him who he was. He said, I'm direct descendant of Nityanand Prabhu. Now, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur knew the family. So he heard that this son has run away from his family. So he said to him, he said, your family has said that you should get married. He goes, but Maharaji, I don't want to get married. I want to be a Babaji. I want to do meditation in Vrindavan. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, okay. He goes, so you want initiation? He goes, yes. He goes, okay. Do you know after initiation you give Guru Dakshina? He goes, yes, Maharaj. He goes, okay, as your Guru Dakshina, I want you to go home and get married. So he was like, oh, okay. Okay, I have to go now. So he went back to his home village and actually got married and had a son. And when he had a son, then he decided, okay, now I can go to Vrindavan. So he went to Vrindavan. And he was staying there, and he had a servant boy that used to serve him. He's a very simple person. Now, simple doesn't mean he wasn't intelligent. He was very pola. And meaning he was very innocent. So whatever anyone would tell him, he would just believe it. So Nanda Kishore Das Goswami used to call him Pondu. Now, it's an affectionate term to mean simpleton. Like, whatever you tell him, he'll just believe it. So this Pondu used to take his cows and go and graze them. And he used to graze them in one of the forests in Vrindavan. And somebody told him that in this forest where you're going, Krishna comes with his cowherd boyfriends and grazes his cows there. So because he's so simple, he said, okay, it must be Krishna will be there. Okay, great. So he started taking his cows there every day. And then eventually he was thinking, Krishna's, where is he? He's not coming. And he became so intensely thinking, Krishna, I want Krishna to come. Why is he not coming? And he became so mad over Lord Krishna coming. Krishna thought, he goes, look, I have to go. So one day when he was grazing his cows there, Krishna, Balaram and the cowherd boys all came. And he saw them, see, yes, I knew, somebody told me you came here. So every single day, he would go to the forest with his cows and he would meet up with Krishna, Balaram and their cows. The cows would mix and he would play with Krishna. And he would serve his spiritual master, Nanda Kishore Das, and he used to take some lunch with him. Now, after he started meeting Krishna, Balaram, one day he took big lot of lunch with him. And Nanda Kishore Das, Babaji said, why are you taking so much food with you? He goes, I've met some friends there. And he goes, who have you met? He goes, Nandalala. He goes, Nandalala? He goes, yeah, Nandalala. He comes with his brother and some cows. And Nanda Kishore Das Goswami got a bit suspicious and he goes, describe this Nandalala for me. He goes, well, he's blue. He wears this nice yellow dhoti. He's got lovely Vajanti garland. He's got Kasturba money. He's got a flute. And Nanda Kishore Das Goswami thought, hold on a minute. He's very simple. He wouldn't lie. And he's thinking, he goes, I think Krishna's coming and playing with him every day. And he thought, he goes, my God, he's achieved Krishna. This simple disciple, I'm trying to achieve Krishna, he's done it. Then he thought, okay, let me, through him, get to meet Krishna. And he said to him, he goes, okay, tell Nanda Kishore that I want to meet him. Tell him to come to where I'm staying and I'll arrange a feast for him. So he said, okay, he goes, sure, he's my friend, he'll listen. So Pondu goes to the forest and he meets Lord Krishna, and Krishna, Balaram and the cows come, and he says to him, he said, Lord, he goes, I've got a little request. And he goes, Krishna goes, yeah, whatever you want, no problem. He goes, look, my guru, he goes, Nanda Kishore Das Goswami, he goes, come and meet him. He goes, he's going to do a feast for you. I've already said you'd come because you're my friend, you'll listen to me. And Krishna says, what have I got to do with Nanda Kishore Goswami? He goes, I've got nothing to do with him. He goes, I'm not going to go. And Pondu goes, hold on, but he's my spiritual master. I've already told him you're coming. Lord said, no, I will not go. And he was surprised, he was like, but Lord, you listen to everything I say. He goes, you always, whatever I say, you always do it. He goes, okay, fine. So Pondu started going into the cows and taking all of his cows out and unmixing them with Krishna's cows. Krishna Balaram saw this and he started taking his cows and started walking away. And they say that Krishna's desire for the devotee is so strong, is as strong as the devotee's desire for Krishna. So Pondu started crying and he goes, Krishna, I never thought you'd do this. As he's going away, Krishna's heart starts to think, oh my God. And he said the Lord couldn't be away from him. So he immediately ran after him and he said, Pondu, hold on. He goes, don't go. He goes, look, the only reason I was saying that I can't come with you is because where your guru is staying, that's Radharani's place. And Balaramji can't come there. Because Balaram can't come where Radharani is. He goes, I can't come and do a feast. He goes, but we'll do a feast here. So he said, yeah, that's great. Excellent. So he held the feast there, and Nanda Kishore Das Goswami Pad came and he saw, oh my God, this is actually Lord Krishna. And so they had the feast there and he couldn't believe it. He goes, oh my God, because of him, I have actually managed to meet the Lord. And he said there that after he actually met him, Nandalal and his party suddenly disappeared. And he couldn't believe it, the Babaji couldn't, and he just passed out. And he heard Krishna's voice saying, don't be restless. He goes, now that I've met you, I want you to go and describe all of my leelas, write a book. So he actually went and wrote 2 books, Shri Krishna Vrindavan Leelamrita and Shri Rasikaika. So these are books about Lord Krishna's pastimes. So again, this is the time of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So it's very, very recent. So this is what it takes. Siddh Babas. They live in Vrindavan and they've perfected their devotion. So another instance that happened, and this is related to happenings in Vrindavan you'll be familiar with. So it says in Srimad Bhagavatam that Lord Krishna is the original. He is the original. And all the other incarnations are partial representations of him. And it's the same is actually true with Vrindavan. Vrindavan is the original Dham, and all the other Dhams are partial manifestations of that. So everyone wants to be in Vrindavan. And this is even the case for Lord Jagannath. It said the Lord Jagannath in Puri wanted to be in Vrindavan. The deity. The deity of the Lord wanted to be in Vrindavan. So the Lord was thinking, how am I going to get to Vrindavan? This wasn't like this year's where they have trains and planes and all that. This was when people used to walk everywhere. So Jagannath Ji is thinking, how am I going to get to Vrindavan? So there happened to be one devotee, Shri Haridas Babaji, living in Vrindavan on Yamuna's shores. And he was a very big devotee of Lord Jagannath. And he was always thinking, when am I going to meet the Lord? When am I going to meet the Lord? So the Lord decided to come in his dream and ask him to take the deity to Vrindavan. So he came in his dream and he thought, oh my God, the Lord is here. And the Lord said to him, he said, look, they are changing the deity. He said, they're changing the Lord's deity after 36 years. Is happening this year. The Lord said to him, the king normally will put my deity in the ocean. And that's what happens when they change the deity. Because instead of doing this, tell him, I want to go to Vrindavan. So the devotee was amazed by this dream of Lord Jagannath. So he thought, okay, Lord, no problem, I'll go. So the next day he set off. And for so many months he traveled to get to Jagannath Puri. So when he got there, they were having a big festival in the street, 7-day festival, when they changed the deity of the Lord. So this Haridas Babaji went to the Pujari of Lord Jagannath and asked, saying, look, I've had a dream. Jagannathji's come to me in the dream. And he's saying that he wants to go to Vrindavan. And the Pujari said, that's a very nice dream. It's like, imagine if someone here came and goes, our deity has come in your dream and said, Sachin Thaichan wants to come to my house. I would like, Haribol Prabhuji, start a mala first, maybe take a book or something. So the Pujari was like, okay. He goes, okay, speak to the king. He goes, I'm not in charge of these things, I'm just the Pujari. So he went to the king, this Haridas Babaji, and he said to the king, he said, look, I've had this dream, the Lord's come in my dream. He wants to go to Vrindavan. And the king said, that's a very nice dream. It's very nice. He goes, but the Lord hasn't told me anything. He goes, I'm sorry, but the Lord gets put in the ocean when they change the Kalevar, and that's what's going to happen, sorry. And the Brahmin, the Haridas Babaji said, okay, fine. If you're going to come to find the Lord to the sea, then I'll go to the sea as well. So he goes, I'm going to sit on the beach and I'm going to fast till death, and then you can put my body in the sea with Lord Jagannath. So Haridas Babaji went to the sea there, because Jagannath Puri, there's the oceans there. So that night in the king's dream, Lord Jagannath Ji came and immediately chastised the king, saying, what are you doing? He goes, I sent him here. I came in his dream because I want to go to Vrindavan. He goes, immediately go now to the beach. He's waiting there. You're disappointed. I'm not very happy. Tell him he can take me and make all arrangements that I go to Vrindavan. So the king got up and immediately thought, he goes, oh my God, I've made some mistake. So immediately he went to the beach and got Haridas Babaji, and he took Jagannath Ji deities to Vrindavan. You can still take darshan of those Jagannath deities from about 500 years ago at a place called Jagannath Ghat in Vrindavan. I've been there. It's amazing. And when I saw the size of the deities, I was like, surely this must... I didn't know this Leela then. I've never seen these big deities. You only see them in Jagannath Puri. Little did I know, they're the deities that actually came. So you can see the Lord communicates to his pure devotees. So the last one that I'll speak about before we do Aarti is someone called Sri Jai Krishna Das Babaji. So he is said actually, so this book is actually written by Adi Keshav Maharaj, who is OBL Kapoor. So he is Bhakti Siddhanta Ji's disciple. And my parents actually met him in Vrindavan. They actually, because he must have been 90 something years old. This was maybe year 2001. And I was gutted that I didn't get to meet them. I was like, man, I would have loved to have met Bhakti Siddhanta Ji's disciples. So he actually told them, look, say, I've written this book, Saints of Raja. So I think this may be from them. And he's Bhakti Siddhanta Ji's disciple, so he's like super next level. And in this book, he's not only written the actual kathas of the Lord, but he's given a lot of siddhanta. And he said that, here he says, Bhakti is like a gravitational force that works at two ends. It draws the Bhakta to Bhagavan and Bhagavan to the Bhakta. So don't think the Lord doesn't desire to come to you as much as you desire to come to him. And he said here very nicely, he said, do you know the Lord incarnates as the deity just to get worship from the devotee? So the deities you have in your house, the Lord has specially incarnated as that deity so that you can worship them, and they specifically came just for you. So as soon as I heard that, I looked at my deity in my house and I took darshan. I was like, oh my God, you come just for me. I need to do better. I was like, I should be paying more attention to you. And I said to my father, because obviously my father prayed at Vidura Prabhu said the katha a few weeks ago. My father went to Yogbeat, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace, and prayed to Sachi Mata Jagannath Mishra there, please give birth to your son Sachinandan in my heart. And as soon as he went back to ISKCON Mayapur there, one of the Maharajas said, there's a devotee who's just prayed at Yogbeat himself. Please, I've got Gaur Nitai deities. I want to find some worthy devotee to give it to. So Haridas Prabhu prayed that the Lord comes, and this devotee is praying, may I have someone I can give the Lord to. So I said to my father, do you realize your prayer, Sachinandan Nitai Chan, incarnated so that Haridas Prabhu could do bhakti, and we've all benefited because he's come, the Lordships have come, and we're able to serve the Lord as well. So you can see this actually I mean, that pastime was from 20, 30 years ago, so even sooner than this book. 94. So you can see the Lord incarnates just to receive worship. So there's this wonderful Babaji, Shri Jai Krishnadas Babaji. So he actually went to Vrindavan to become Siddh, become perfected. So he actually was very much attracted to Lord Krishna in Madhurya Bhav, but he liked the cowherd boys as well. So there, it was a place it was under a tree on the banks of Vimalkund in Kamyavan. He used to stay, and he used to do his bhajan there. And some cowherd boys there used to come and disturb him every day. They would come and say, Babaji, what's this, tapasya and penance you're doing? And they would laugh at him. So he got annoyed and he thought, well, I'm just going to leave here and go somewhere else. And the people in that area thought, hold on, this is, not auspicious for us. So they decided, they said, look, you stay here, we'll build you a nice hut so that the cowherd boys coming don't disturb you. So they built him a nice hut, so he stayed there very nicely. So he was doing intense bhajan for the Lord. And if I can find it, I'll read. Hold on, there's a bit here where it said, when Krishna actually will come to see the devotee is when his Krishna Vira, or the suffering in separation from Krishna, becomes unbearable. So that's the point where Krishna will come to meet you. When your suffering and separation from Krishna becomes unbearable, then Krishna comes. So in this, Jai Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, it says, one day his Krishna Vira had reached its climax. It becomes so unbearable for him that he couldn't be separate from Krishna. That day, some cowherd boys came outside his hut and started banging on the door, like they always do. And they said, Babaji, we are thirsty. And he thought some boys had just come to disturb him. And they shouted, oh, Bengali Baba, what bhajan do you perform? What is the use of your bhajan if it makes you so heartless? Why can't you come out and give some water? Don't you know that it's aprad to turn away thirsty persons from your door? So he went there thinking, came out with a stick in his hand, thinking these are the normal cowherd boys. And he suddenly stopped and he thought, man, these are beautiful cowherd boys. He goes, they all looked one another, was more and more beautiful, one after another, one after another. And he goes, I've never seen beautiful cowherd boys like this. So he still was annoyed, and he goes to one of them. One of the boys was wearing a peacock feather in his crown. And he said to him, he goes, Lala, where do you live? And the boy said, I live in Nandagam. And he goes, okay, what's your name? He goes, my name's Kanaya. And he goes, okay. And he goes, who's this boy standing next to you? He goes, oh, his name is Baldao. And he goes, okay. And remember, this is Vrindavan, so every other boy is called Kanaya or Krishna or Baldao. So he just thought, okay, great. And they said, Kanaya said, Baba, we're parched. Can you give us some water? And he goes, well, I haven't got any glasses, so you'll have to have it in your hands. So Kanaya was standing there, and he takes his kamandalu and starts to pour the water into Kanaya's hands. And as he does, he locks eyes with Krishna. And he said, Krishna locked eyes with him. He locked eyes with Krishna. The pani was getting poured, went straight through Krishna's hands onto the floor. And they're just looking at each other, looking at each other. And he goes, it was so intense. He said, each was absorbed in looking at the other like one enchanted. Do you see? Krishna's enchanted with the devotion of his devotee, just as much as the devotee is enchanted. This is called Siddh. This is called perfection. And he said, the boys started laughing because they saw this water was falling on the floor. The cowherd boys started laughing. And then immediately Krishna and the Babaji snapped out of it. And Kanaya then said, he said, look, Babaji, we come here from a long distance. We'll come here every day to your house. He goes, keep some refreshments for us. And Baba immediately forgot. And he goes, he forgot again that it was Krishna. And he goes, don't come here and disturb me every day. I'm busy doing my bhajan. And he closed the door. And then he sat there and he thought, man, those cowherd boys are really, really attractive. And he thought, hold on, something's not right. He opened the door immediately, they'd all vanished straight away. And this is like moments. And he immediately thought, he was like, oh my God, I think that was Krishna. And he became so, when it dawned on him, it says, suddenly the consciousness dawned upon Baba that Kanaya and Baldao were actually Krishna and Balaram, who he had been worshipping. A current of bhav, ecstatic love and bhakti ran through his body. Tears flowed from his eyes, and he was overwhelmed with joy and emotion at the thought that he has seen Krishna, the treasure of his heart and soul. But the joy turned to grief when he thought that he had been a fool and told Krishna not to come again. And the grief was so unbearable to him. This is what I'm saying. When that unbearable reaches its peak, he goes, the grief was so unbearable that he felt like his heart would burst. And he said, but Krishna never fails his devotee when the pangs of separation become unbearable. Look at it, he never fails. So immediately Krishna, Balaram and the Gopas appeared before him. And he came with a smiling face and he goes, I've come here just to tell you that I will come to you tomorrow and never leave. And Babaji, and then he vanished again. And he was like, oh my God, brilliant. So the next day, Babaji's waiting for Krishna. He hears a knock at the door. He opens the door, and an old lady is standing there with a deity of Gopal. And he said, I'm serving this deity of Gopal. I can't serve him anymore. Can you serve him for me? And so Baba says, well, hold on, where am I going to find all the materials to worship him every day? And he said, and he goes, don't worry, he goes, that'll all be sorted out for you. So reluctantly he took the deity. And that night in his dream, he suddenly saw that old lady again in his dream. And guess who she turned into? She turned into Vrinde Devi. It was actually Vrinde Devi that come in his dream. And he said, he goes, Krishna wanted to come to you, so I bought this deity just for you to worship. And he said, Krishna told you he would come and he'd never leave you again. So he was ecstatic and he started to worship that Lord Krishna deity till he actually passed away. And he said, I'll read this from it, Baba was a sadhaka of Madhurya Ras. So it says, in Madhurya Ras, the sadhak develops his form of a gopi and regards himself as the beloved of Krishna and a companion of Radharani. So, and this became apparent from the way that he left his body. His last words were, where is my lahanga, which is a loose garment for women hanging from the waist downwards? Where is my angiya, which is a cloth worn by women from the head downwards? And where is my choli? And he left his body saying that. And they're saying this is the indication that he would have heard the flute of Lord Krishna and he stepped into his spiritual body as he was leaving. So you can see this is a Siddha Purush. This is how you go back to Godhead. Okay? So does that all inspire you? Does it give you something to aim towards? This is only happening in the last couple of 100 years. This is very, very recent. This is not Lord Stani Mahaprabhu's times or this is Lord Krishna's time. This is very recent. So see this and realize we need to keep improving in our bhakti. Don't be complacent. Don't do your 16 Hare Krishna rounds which aren't even attentive. Don't just think, oh, I haven't read for 20 years, but yeah, I know the general principles. I'll be all right. You have to do this. These Babajis have set the example. And the reason why we read these kathas is to think, I need to do the same thing. Doesn't mean you have to go to Vrindavan. It means you have to bring Vrindavan to you. Vrindavan is a state of mind. Meaning, you're always thinking of Krishna. Where does Krishna stay? Vrindavan, isn't it? If you always think of Krishna, Krishna's Dham is always with him as well. Okay? One other thing is, it's an aside, and it's a little bit technology related. For those of you that can't go to Vrindavan, I actually bought recently, there's a virtual reality device called MetaQuest. Now, my Dhanapratini bought me this for Christmas. So I thought, hold on a second, this is virtual reality. So there must be Google Earth on there. So I found there's an app on there called Wonder, which is based on Google Earth. Now I thought, hold on, Google Earth is in Vrindavan and Mayapur and Govardhan and Radhakund. I went to on there immediately, boom, I'm in Radhakund, all around 360. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is amazing. And it's literally like being in the temple. I put it on, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I shared it to him, I thought maybe I was overreacting. So I asked my father to come and try it. He put it on and he was like, whoa, it feels like I'm in the temple. You go there, you're taking darshan and all that kind of stuff. It blew your mind. So you're thinking, oh, I can't get to Vrindavan this year. The flu's going, COVID, this and that. It's okay. Google Earth is there for you. Go in there, go to Vrindavan, do your meditation, do your rounds. So Lord Krishna has provided wonderful technology, which means you can get close to him. Okay? And the best technology is the lovely bead bags that we sell in Gaurnitai gifts. Anyone that doesn't chant, everyone here knows Mahamantra? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Any of you who aren't chanting this regularly on beads, we have a deal with our Gaurnitai gifts and the manager Anuragi. We will give you a free beads and bead bag and a Chant and Be Happy book. So this is Srila Prabhupada's conversation with the Beatles about Mahamantra. Please everyone, do chant on your beads every single day. Read Srila Prabhupada's books. And you never know, one day it could be one of your stories that is being written about. So, Hare Krishna. So, for everyone, questions or actually, I will bring and honestly, it's amazing. I might bring you to the temple. Actually, it's astonishing to see. Hanji? Yeah, definitely. Okay, so if everyone can please stand up, we'll do Aarti. Jai Hare Krishna.
Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai.
Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jayo Gauranitai.
Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai.
Jayo Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Gauranitai.
Kiba Jayo, Jayo, Gaura Chande, Arati Ko Shobha.
Jayo, Jayo Gaura Chande, Arati Ko Shobha.
Jana Vitatavane, Jagaman Lobha.
Janami Tatavane, Jagamanolo.
Jana Vitatavane, Jagaman Lobha.
Janami Tatavane, Jagamanolo. Shrini Vasa Chatradhara
Nikate Advaita Shrini Vasa Chatradhara.
Nikaite Advaita Shrini Vasa Chatradhara. निताई गौर
गौरचान रत्न सिंहासने
बोसे राज
आरती कोरे न ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गाने
गौर है ना ब्रह्मा आदि देवगाने
आरती कोरे न ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गाने
आरती गौर है ना ब्रह्मा आदि देवगाने
नारा हरि आदि कोरे चामर डुलाया
जरा हरि आदि कोरी चमरा दुनाया
संजया मुकुंद वासु घोष आदि गाया
संजया मुकुंद वासु घोषदि गाया
संजया मुकुंद वासु घोषादि गाया
संजया मुकुंद वासु घोषदि गाया
शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताला बाजे घंटा
बाजे बाजे करता
माधुरा मृदंग बाजे परमरसाला माधुरा मृदंग बाजे
परमरसा
माधुरा मृदंग बाजे परमरसाला शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे
शंका बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे
शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे
शंका बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे
शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे
शंका बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे
ओ माधुर 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 बाजे
मधुर 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 बाजे
माधुर 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 बाजे
मधुर 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 बाजे
ओ माधुर 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 बाजे
मधुर 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 बाजे
माधुर 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 बाजे
मधुर 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 बाजे
माधुर 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 बाजे
मधुर मधुर मधुर
जय गौरा निताय गौरा निताय गौरा निताय जय गौरा निताय
जय गौरांगिताय 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 जय गौरांगिताय
जय गौरा निताय गौरा निताय गौरा निताय जय गौरा निताय
जय गौरांगिताय 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 जय गौरांगिताय
बहु कोटि चंद्र जिनी वदन उज्ज्वला
अहो कोटि चंद्र जिनी वदन उज्ज्वला
गाल देशे वनमाला कोरे जलमाला
काला देशे वहनमाला
দেশে বনমালা করে ঝলমালা
देशे वनमाला गोरे जलमाला
शिव शिव शुक नारद प्रेम गद गद शुक भगति विनोद देखे गौरर संपदा
भगति विनोदा देखे गोरा संपादा
भगति विनोद देखे गौरर संपदा
भगति विनोदा देखे गोरा संपादा
जय गौर नेताय गौर नेताय गौर नेताय जय गौर नेताय
जय गौरान्विताय 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 जय गौरान्विताय
जय गौर नेताय गौर नेताय गौर नेताय जय गौर नेताय जय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरे
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 गौर 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 हरे
गौर 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 हरे
गौर 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 हरे
गौर 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 हरे
जय सच्चिदानंद जय सच्चिदानंद
जय सच्चिदानंद
जय सच्चिदानंद जय सच्चिदानंद
जय सच्चिदानंद जय सच्चिदानंद
जय गौर 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 हरे
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 जय नित्यानंद गौर हरे
जय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरे
जय नित्यानंद गौर हरे
जय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरे
जय नित्यानंद गौर हरे गौर 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 हरे नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने
विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निधि नामिने
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशकारिणे
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे चैतन्य नित्यानंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda
Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Gaurang Nitai Jayo Gaurang Nitai
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Jagannath Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu me
Jagannath Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu me
नीलाचल चंद्र स्वामी जगन्नाथ नीलाचल माधव प्यारे जगन्नाथ
नीलाचल चंद्र स्वामी जगन्नाथ नीलाचल माधव प्यारे जगन्नाथ
जय जगन्नाथ जय श्याम सुंदर प्यारे जगन्नाथ
जय जगन्नाथ जय श्याम
जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा
बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जयो बलदेवा जयो सुभद्रा
जय साक्षीनाथ
निताई गो
राहरी विष्णु प्रिया प्राणधन दे मारी
जयो सचिनंदन गौर हरे विष्णु प्रिया प्राण धन नदी विहारी
गोरा 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 हारी पतित पावन गोरा हारी
गौरा 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 हरि हरित पावन गौरा हरि
जनिता चांद चांदक चक्रधार
जयो निताय चांद जयो निताय चांद जयो निताय चांद विक्र चक्रधार
जय राधा गोकुलानंद राधा गोकुलानंद राधे
जयो राधा गोकुल नंदन राधा गोकुल नंदन राधे
जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे
जयो राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे
जय राधा रमण राधा रमण राधे
जयो राधा
जय गिरिराज महाराज गिरिराज महाराज गिरिराज महाराज जय गिरिराज महाराज
जयो गिरिराज महाराज गिरिराज महाराज गिरिराज महाराज जयो गिरिराज महाराज
जय श्री मधुसूदन श्री मधुसूदन श्री मधुसूदन जय श्री मधुसूदन
जयो श्री मधुसूदन श्री मधुसूदन श्री मधुसूदन जयो श्री मधुसूदन
जय माने मा मानी मा मानी मा जय मानी
जयो मणि मा मणि मा मणि मा जयो मणि मा
Have you done Raghunandan?
रघुनंदन राघव राम हरे सिया राम हरे सिया राम हरे
राघव राम हरे सिया राम हरे सिया राम हरे
ओ रघुनंदन राघव राम हरे सिया राम हरे सिया राम हरे
रघुनंदन राघव राम हरे सिया राम हरे सिया राम हरे
ओ सिया राम हरे सिया राम हरे सिया राम हरे सिया राम हरे
सिया राम हरे सिया राम हरे सिया राम हरे सिया राम हरे
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
ओ श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओ श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
हमारो धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा
हमारो
धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा
हे हमारो धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा
हमारो धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा
हमारो धन राधा 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 राधा
हमारो धन राधा 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 राधा
श्री कृष्ण प्यारी राधा 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 राधा
श्री राधा श्री राधा
गोविंद प्यारी राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा हमारी प्यारी राधा 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 राधा
राधा राधा राधा राधा राधा
हे हमारी प्यारी राधा 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 राधा
हमारी प्यारी राधा 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 राधा
हे परम धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा हे परम धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा
राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा
श्री राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा
श्री राधा श्री राधा
श्री राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा
श्री राधा श्री राधा
लाडली अपने चरणों पे रख लो मुझे इस पतित का भी उद्धार हो जाएगा
लाडली अपने चरणों च रख लो मुझे हे पतित गाई उद्धार हो जाएगा
लाडली अपने चरणों पे रख लो मुझे इस पतित का भी उद्धार हो जाएगा
लाडली अपने चरणों
रख लो मुझे
इस पतित का भी उद्धार हो जाएगा
इस पतित का भी उद्धार हो जाएगा
इस पतित का ही उद्धार हो जाएगा
इस पतित का भी उद्धार हो जाएगा
हे पतित का ही उद्धार हो जाएगा
इस पतित का भी उद्धार हो जाएगा
हे पतित का ही उद्धार हो जाएगा
लाडली अपने चरणों पे रख लो मुझे इस पतित का भी उद्धार हो जाएगा
लाडली अपने चरणों च रख लो मुझे हे पतित का ही उद्धार हो जाएगा
श्री राधा 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 राधा
श्री राधा
राधा राधा राधा
श्री राधा 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 राधा
श्री राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा
श्री राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा राधा राधा
श्री राधा
जयो प्रभुपाद जगत गुरु
जयो प्रभुपाद जयो प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जगत गुरु
जयो प्रभुपाद जयो प्रभुपाद जयो प्रभुपाद जगत गुरु
जयो गुरुदेव
जय हो
गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव पतित पावो
जयो गुरुदेव जयो गुरुदेव जयो गुरुदेव पतित पावन
जयो गुरुदेव जयो गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव पतित पावो
जयो गुरुदेव जयो गुरुदेव जयो गुरुदेव पतित पावन
निताय गौरा हरि बोल
नित्य गो
हरि बोल
नित्य गो
हरि बोल
नित्य गो
हरि बोल
नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल
ओ निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल
नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि
ओ
बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि
हरि
बोल
बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
ताई गौर प्रेमानंदे
हरि हरि बोल हरि बोल गौरा प्रेमानंद हरि बोल जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य स्तोत्र रस श्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace ऐसे भक्ति वेदांत गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय ISKCON में मेरे फाउंडर आचार्य जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय ISKCON गोविंद की जय श्री श्री सच्चिदानंद निताय चांद की जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र की जय श्री श्री राधा माधव श्री राधा रमन लाल की जय श्री मानिमा श्री मधुसूदन श्री गिरिराज की जय प्रेम से गो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासुदेव गौर भक्त वृंद की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय हरे कृष्णा महामंत्र की जय हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय ISKCON Coventry यात्रा की जय ISKCON वर्ल्डवाइड यात्रा की जय गौरा प्रेमानंद हरि बोल all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. I will do Nasingati now, remembering all the names which are on the list, but especially remembering today Shraddha Devi, and she's doing wonderfully well now. After the first week, it was like really not good, but now she's still weak and poorly, but she's doing very well comparatively. And we also, wow, wonderful news. She might be out of hospital tomorrow. Excellent news. And our own Pujari Vibhu Prabhu is struggling with this congestion and mucus. It's just not clearing. It's been for 2 weeks or more now. So remember him also. Okay, Hare Krishna. Jayapatra Maharaj is one of his disciples passed away. Kya now? Isho Gauranga Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So someone from your...
श्रीलोन सिंहदेव भगवान की जय भक्त प्रहलाद की जय प्रभुपाद महाराज की जय नमस्ते नरसिंहाय नमस्ते नरसिंहाय Jai Jagadish Hare. Jaya Jagadish, Jaya Jagadish, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Jaya Jagadish, Jaya Jagadish, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Jaya Nrsimhadev, 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 Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Nrsimhadev, 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 Jaya Narahari. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nita Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gora Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nrsimhadev ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Prabhupada ki, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Nita Gora Prabhupada, Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.
Okay, okay. Hari Bol.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, that was fantastic finish to today's program. Excellent class, Guru Sevak Prabhu. Wonderful class, excellent. And it's made us realize once again the special nature of these deities on our altar, and all of us who have been so fortunate to serve them all these years is fantastic. You know, they are very special, actually, very special. So with that regard, some announcements. On the 2nd or 3rd of February, appearance day of Nityanand Prabhu. And is it 7th of March? Sorry, I got a cookie. 7th or 8th of March. Appearance day of Gaura Purim. Gaura Purim. Let me just confirm that. Okay. So Friday 3rd of February is Nityanand Trayodasi. Just me, I'm fumbling with the calendar. And Tuesday 7th of March is Gaura Purim. Two lovely festivals. And we as a temple for several years now, about Gaura Purim for many years since installation, but Nityanand Prabhu for several years now, we support the Janma Bhumis. Okay, so if you say that.
I have तार काटती मेरी अच्छा जय हो बोलो हरि बोल so say loudly Jai Nitai. So Nityanand is on the left there, and 500 years ago he came, he's Balram. And Balram comes first, and then Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came next. He was born in a place called Ekachakra. Where? Ekachakra. Now Pandavas have been there, so there's a place there where he killed a demon there. So Ekachakra is a place there, he was born there. And Nityanand Prabhu did Leela with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he disappeared in a deity called Banke Rai. There's a Banke Rai deity there. And so he went into the deity. So in one sense, Eka Chakra is same as Nityanand Prabhu. Now we have dealings with Eka Chakra Prabhu, Eka Chakra Dham. And there's an ISKCON temple that is very beautiful. You want to go there. And so we build a good relationship with them. So he rings me near the festival. And he says, if people can donate towards the festival. Now they invite thousands and thousands of people. In fact, there's other temples as well. ISKCON feeds most of them, all of them really. And it's a wonderful cause. We did that last year as well. So please find it in your heart to get mercy of Nityanand Prabhu. When Nityanand Prabhu is happy with you, he will give you the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is happy with you, he gives you love of Radha and Krishna. This is a shortcut. When you go to a building which has got many steps, so if you get a lift, it's quicker. So Gaur Nitai are the lift to the spiritual world. So please, please, Nityanand Prabhu are making an appeal, so we put it on the notice board as well. And we should give to Eka Chakra because you heard the Katha, devotees are very important. So you are feeding the devotees directly on that day. Now I've been on that Nityanand Triyodasi for many, many years. Can't go this year for some reason. But we've been there, how many people come? There are loads of them. And they will take the name of the ones who donate, because I give the list saying, this is so much given. They actually offer Tulsi to go Nitai there. There's Radha Krishna as well, saying your name in the morning. And when Shraddha Devi wasn't well, the Pujari got to know it, so he told me, I'll say her name and give the Tulsi. He started it from day one like that. So big round of applause for Nityanand Prabhu for being merciful. And Vidu Prabhu is actually going to the Dhams, and he's going to stay around for a couple of months. And he's planning to go to Eka Chakra as well. So he'll be there as well. And they said, whoever comes to Eka Chakra, give their name, we'll look after them. There's a guest house there as well. So please, if anybody wants to go, let me know. I just tell them, and they get looked after, prashadam. There's rooms as well. They're going to make another big guest house as well. So please get close to Nityanand Prabhu, get the mercy so you can get Sachinanda Nitaya Chand, the key. So please, devotees know where to give the money. I mean, give to Vidu Prabhu or Anuragi, please. The other one is, as Vidur is going for 2 months, if some of you who can't make it this year,